Well, that didn't take long, did it? And who could have guessed that another ridiculous story about Trump would prove to be false? And here's a good rule of thumb. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But if you've got Trump derangement syndrome, that syndrome needs to be fed. And if it's all just empty calories, who cares? Orange man bad. Anyway, this is from the Daily Wire. The explosive testimony delivered by former White House official Cassidy Hutchinson Tuesday to the January 6 the January 6 House Select Committee appears to be falling apart as more reports surface of pushback coming from the U.S. Secret Service and other individuals. And what claim did she make? And she was a former aide to White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. And she claimed that Trump, on the day of the January 6 rally, tried to get Secret Service to take him to the U.S. Capitol building, and that he became enraged when they would not do it because the area was not secure. She claimed that Trump tried to grab the steering wheel of the armored presidential limousine, and that Bobby Engel, who was the lead security detail, had to tell him, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel." Hutchinson claimed that Trump then lunged at and assaulted the agent. Now again, if you have TDS, this is something that you want to believe. It's perfect. Maybe just a little too perfect, huh? Maybe it's a little too good to be true. And we'll get to that. But anyway, Hutchinson claims that she was told this information from Anthony Ornato, a senior Secret Service official who was detailed to the White House and served as Deputy Chief of Operations. So we've got two figures here, Anthony Ornato, who served as Deputy Chief of Operations, and we have Bobby Engel, who was the lead security detail. And it turns out they have a difference of opinion with this Hutchinson, who was an aide to the Chief of Staff. So it didn't take long for this to come out. This is actually a CNN reporter. Update: a Secret Service official familiar with the matter told CNN that Tony Ornato denies telling Cassidy Hutchinson that the former president grabbed the steering wheel or an agent on his detail. And remember, this is a CNN reporter, and we're going to go to the CNN webpage in a minute. But first, here's from John Santucci, who is an editorial producer for ABC News. He says, source close to the Secret Service says to expect the Secret Service to push back against any allegation of an assault against an agent or President Trump reaching for the steering wheel. Here's another CNN reporter. Tony Ornato is denying that he told Cassidy Hutchinson that Trump grabbed the steering wheel in the presidential vehicle on 1/6 or lunged at a fellow agent. A USSS official tells Josh Campbell. CNN confirms that Ornato and Engel are prepared to testify that neither incident occurred. So it seems quite likely this whole thing was made up, wasn't it? Here's the headline: 7 takeaways from Tuesday's shocking January 6 hearing. And you can see this was updated at 10:29 p.m. Eastern Time, June 28th. But let me show you something here that's very interesting in CNN's reporting. Says Engel and Ornato have both testified to the committee behind closed doors, but their statements were not used in the hearing Tuesday. I wonder why that might be. But you have to think that if the testimony had backed up this Hutchinson, they would have used them. And the fact that they've testified and their statements have not been used leads me to believe that everybody on that committee knows that what this Hutchinson said, at least regarding this grabbing the steering wheel, is not real. Again, it says here, Tony Ornato is denying that he told Cassidy Hutchinson that Trump grabbed the steering wheel in the presidential vehicle or lunged at a fellow agent. I mean, we have CNN confirms that Ornato and Engel are prepared to testify that neither incident occurred. Because you see the headline is pretty spicy. 7 takeaways from Tuesday's shocking January 6 hearing. So what's shocking is what's shocking that at least some of it appears to be false, and then that would lead the rest of the testimony from this Hutchinson person to be brought highly into doubt. Anyway, I guess we're all kind of getting used to this these days, aren't we? Let's take a look at MSNBC here. Ex-White House aide gives explosive testimony about Trump's actions on January 6. I mean, how about a headline like ex-White House aide gives immediately debunked testimony about Trump's actions? Here's ABC News. What do they say? They've got dramatic details you may have missed in Tuesday's January 6th hearing. As Trump rails at Cassidy Hutchinson's January 6th testimony, other aides vouch for her. Well, what about the two key principal figures in the story who apparently are going to debunk her testimony? But I forgot. This isn't journalism. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. Sharing really helps me out. I notice it when people share my content. It makes a big difference. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.